Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chapter 10 of the Ootcast Retrospectives. It's been a while. We've had some technical issues. The OBS update made a mess of things. Oh, no one's fault, just some problematic issues. Techno has been mightily struggling and has finally wrestled it into what we hope is submission.
If you see
Uh,
this, it worked.
yes, if you see this, it worked. Um, of course, if it doesn't work, and in reference to any previous attempts, best content we ever did. Shame that you'll never
I
see it.
know. That's like I
Uh,
think total, that was like, what, like almost an hour and a half worth of content that never got seen, even though it was the same scene over and over again.
mhm.
God.
And it was the best content, each one, iteratively better. This, sadly, we're just unable to match it, so it's still good. Anyway, chapter 10, we are now coming out of the first proper experience with the other side, so let's get on with it. We're going to be going into Jamie as she encounters the tail end of her other side experience. And in hindsight, this is likely the burgeoning beginning of her own little demi-plane that we see Tsukiko set up in later. And this is also the first encounter with Mizzy.
Yay. We love Mizzy.
Perfectly, classically mirrored as well. And we're seeing her in the more masculine form because Mizzy, of course, was originally intended to be Hayato. But just Mizzy, just doing Mizzy things, supporting Jamie. Because clearly at this point, Jamie is probably in some ways the most lacking in confidence in the cast, even next to Ashley. Very shy, very withdrawn, totally understandably considering the split gender role she has to play and all that sort of stuff.
Ashley has the benefit of being incredibly
Well, she's
just
still able to be herself. That's the key
press
thing, right?
forward.
Ashley is still very much able to be herself, regardless of anything else. Jamie has to play a role, and it's obviously been very corrosive to her sense of self-worth. As you'd expect, especially from having to play it from such a young age all the way through adolescence.
hmm What were you saying about Mizzy in the Discord earlier?
Oh, so yesterday I saw a video. There was a bit of discussion about Mizzy, and the old slut chart got brought up. Sly, she's slutty, but whether you're shy about it, all that sort of stuff. And it's worth noting, someone made a joke about how Mizzy isn't actually as slutty as Jamie, and it's like the logic there is very simple. Mizzy plays it up a bit partly out of just sheer playfulness, it's just her personality, but also by being in touch with her own sexuality. She doesn't bottle it up. She just likes to have a good time. She doesn't bottle it up. She wears her sexuality in the open. Jamie, on the other hand, has bottled up all of her sexuality. We don't even see her sexuality start to come out until the last few chapters of Oot, where, as she states, I just want to be your desire, which is a very powerful statement coming from Jamie. It's particularly coming from an entity that Tsukiko has talked about considerably, how Jamie can literally wear the other girls and take traits from them. And I thought about it a little bit, and I kind of came to the conclusion that Jamie's idealized form that she gets from CJ helping her in his world is literally a perfect amalgamation of all of the girls' various traits molded into one. She's got Leia's chest and overall balance of figure. She's got Ash's sort of very athletic, slender build. She's got Vic's height and long hair and just overall sort of like flavor to her. Like, you can see that when she says, "I just want to be your desire," that facial expression, that attitude is very Vic. And I don't say that as a bad thing at all. I mean, we all take cues for our behavior from those around us as we are brought up, and we just then find the way that they naturally fit us. So it's just really interesting to see Jamie embrace that. But at this point, this is Jamie very much still trying to figure her out. And also, this is one of my favorite models for Jamie. She looks hella cute in that dress. This is Jamie visiting Vic and then blipping off again because she's kind of bouncing around the other side at this point. But yes, child Vic as well. Well, not child, but young.
Yeah, I mean it's an apt description. It's what she looked like in the very beginning.
Yeah, and that's how she still is emotionally on the inside. That's, you know, as it's said many times, how we see ourselves spiritually is how you are in the other side. But yeah, this is also Skydad's playing.
Yeah, so
right
I
here.
didn't realize the mountains in the background.
Yeah, I mean, probably just a visual metaphor, but
well, yeah.
who knows
Yeah.
with it.
I mean,
But yeah, no, this is.
we
It's
do
interesting that
know-
she ends up. It's really interesting she ends up here in Skydad's playing. This is why Tsukiko recognizes it, but is still kind of like, oh, this is weird. Later on in 50-51. But the first thing she asks for is not for herself, but it's for CJ. It just really shows the level of commitment she's already got to him, and also kind of her lack of self-worth. And here's, you know, CJ popping in his other side form,
and immediately waking up.
and then they wake up, you know. This is an interesting moment right here.
We kind of burned all the dialogue that we had to say out of this scene.
Yeah, we've said it. We've said
we've
it quite
said
a
it
few
like
times.
5
Forgive
times.
us. So this is an interesting one where she tells him about seeing Skydad, and his reaction is really interesting. Like there is a deliberate pause before he goes, "Hey, great! You finally got to meet Dad." And that pause, I think, is really indicative of him sort of like going, "Shit," or at least not even consciously.
Well, I mean, he's like, "Oh wait, right, I told her about that. See, she believes me now. It's fine." Like,
well, this is classic CJ at this point, where he just bulldozes through the weird stuff. He doesn't talk about it. He just bulldozes.
Yeah, and of course Jamie goes along with it.
Yeah, and because especially considering how emotionally submissive Jamie is at this point, she will just kind of go along with it. She won't question him like she was.
And she did see. I mean, she didn't see the PNG, but she saw like what he was talking about.
She saw the whole thing.
I didn't. I think she says that she saw something, but it wasn't the full thing.
She didn't really want to take it seriously, but she mentions later on in 50 that she saw, like, she said, I saw a miles tall cartoon man in the sky, but I didn't know what that meant. So she just kind of didn't take it seriously, which is kind of the whole point of the Skydad
dialogue
motif,
they had in the beginning of Teresa's arc. She said that she saw something. Anyway, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, because she was too embarrassed to explain it. How do you explain?
Yeah, fair enough.
That you saw a giant cartoon man who's like 100 miles tall in the sky in a ray of clouds. Like, it sounds ridiculous. Which is the point. The absurdity of that sequence is a deliberate choice. Like, I get that's another thing we were discussing in the Discord.
Suspend your disbelief, guys.
It's how the jarring nature of how that scene with Skydad the first time is such a vibe check. It's such a jarring change from how things have been done up to that point. Like, it opens really traumatically. Like, there's a sexual assault followed by.
I mean, it's the literal first couple frames is sexual
followed
assault.
Followed by an implied, well, not implied, an actual, bad thing. I'm not even sure if we can say that on YouTube these days without getting.
I have no idea.
But you get my point.
Don't worry about that. If we ever say anything that YouTube's like, you can't say that, I'll just bleep it out, and then somebody will assume that we said something racist. It's fine.
There's a rape that occurs, and then all that happens, and that suddenly you get this whiplash. If you want to pause it here, because I do want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
You get that whiplash moment, and then that in itself, it turns out, as we learn in 50-51, is Anon absolutely pulling a fast one on us. It's a refuge in audacity, a refuge in absurdity moment where the very childishness and dissonant nature of that of Skydad is a deliberate cover in some ways. Like, CJ admits that he created Skydad only semi-consciously as a way to explain his the weirdness of his life, the trauma he experienced under Stacy, the spiritual elements that he was probably sensing even back then. And I personally have come to the belief that it partly was his own trauma blocking him from realizing it, but also I think a lot of it was the influence of the goddesses working to keep him an ignorant puppet. And when I say puppet, I don't necessarily mean pulling on strings like he's got absolutely no um, self-aware, like no capacity to act on his own. I think the way the goddess's influence on CJ works is much more subtle than that. It's much more a case that they basically programmed him with a set of traits and personality setups and responses, right? And anytime something comes along that could disrupt that, at least at this point in the story, as we see literally right here, he just blows past it. He doesn't think about it. And I think it's because something is deliberately suppressing his ability to actually introspect properly, which is why his um we don't get an internal monologue for CJ, because in a sense he doesn't really have one that's his. That's why the only time we do, well, I think the only time we get a genuine internal monologue from CJ is when he's in the reality bubble that Lindsay makes to push out the influence of the goddesses. I genuinely, like all the other times that we see narration up to that point, I think it's literally the programming of the goddesses pushing and prodding and
I'm sure. Yeah.
explaining
I
why he
mean,
doesn't think things through.
as we go forward now, I'm sure we'll be able to. I mean, look, we already know that the son of a bitch moments are coming up, but like in terms of the
Yeah, yeah.
narration, I'm sure we'll be able to look at things that CJ's thought because he doesn't have a whole lot of those that are said to us.
Yeah,
Um,
but the fact that that's
yeah,
deliberately underlined so much early on, especially, is to me like it's more than just a joke now. I think it's actually a plot thing, which
yeah.
maybe that's just me massively copiing.
No, 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 no. I totally
I will
agree with you.
happily cope
I
that
no,
it
no,
could
no, no,
be
no.
that.
I totally agree with the whole jokes of like CJ's stupid in the beginning. Like it makes way more sense for that to be like a deliberate thing now that with the information that we know, rather than
Yeah.
because CJ Chain's like it's actually kind of nuts. Like the way he acts at the end of like before all the traumatic stuff happens at the end of 50, just like compared to how he acts now, like seems like he's just completely different, like in terms of
Well, I
how
mean,
he deals with
the way
things.
the way I put it, I think for me the most telling scene in truth is actually the climactic sequence in 44, where CJ is, and I think it's almost for the first time, he's not in alignment with the girls as to what needs to be
Is this
done.
whenever he stops them?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely the most obvious sign of it. But he's even like that with even Teresa. Teresa acts on her own to cut Stacy off karmically from Orxo, which is what's killing her, as we see her in that
Mm-hmm.
sequence.
Yeah, no, I know.
And that's expressly not what CJ has stated as what he wants. And when he finds out she's done that, I wouldn't say he's angry with her, because I don't think he can be really angry with her yet at that point. But he's definitely upset.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but then he has to go
and
out of
it's
his way to
even
explain to like everybody, like, no, we're not killing her. What are you doing? Everybody
but he's
else was
done
on
that
that
several
train.
times. He's already done that several times, and they all know that. Like, they discuss in Teresa's arc, all of them, that CJ isn't going to want to kill her. So, I mean, Leia says like, "Oh, we should just kill her," and then someone says to her, I think it's Kieran, "You no, it's Jamie says it to her. You know, he wouldn't be happy to hear that." And Leia like is like, "Yeah, yeah, I know." And
Yeah,
it's like,
and like
but
all
like,
my
but she's not even aggressive about that. It's not a yeah, and it's like a yeah, I know. Like it's hitting her that she does know that consciously, but emotionally, it's a struggle for her to get it. And
Hmm.
this sequence that we're seeing right here is a good example of what I'm talking about with CJ early on. He just blows past Jamie's like, what the hell was that all about? Why did I see a giant cartoon man in the sky?
Yeah, she's like,
And
he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. See, you met him. It's fine now. We're good. See, I told you everything I
but
said was legit.
his pause just before after she asked the question is very deliberate. Like there's two frames where he just pauses, and if you really examine what he says, he doesn't explain shit. He just says, "Oh yeah, that's my dad." Like he doesn't think about that right there. So you followed me. Like this is like that's concern. Like, you saw him, huh? And it's like, that's not enthusiasm. That's like, oh no. And then you suddenly get this flip to
Right?
being like,
The
I told you I saw him in the
the
clouds.
programming turned back on for a second. Oh yeah, right. Hey, that's a good thing.
But this is the thing: is there's an overlap here between the programming and his own trauma-triggered denial. Like confronting that, what Skydad is would mean confronting his trauma over Stacy and all the shit that went down there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would mean coming to grips with the fact that, you know, everything that happened to him was because his fault, quotation marks. But it's nice to see him have a bro moment with Jamie and reach out to look after his bro who's very upset.
Gotta
Yeah, this is just more of that. This is more of that. This is more of CJ just blowing past things. Jamie asking a really good question. Like, what are the rings about? You did have a ring, didn't you? And CJ's like, You want to come clean with me?
I still love that. Bro, you want to come clean with me?
And like, yeah, I mean, Jamie tries to come clean right here, and it just...
Yes, and of course... Who calls him here? Vic?
Vic does, yeah.
Trying to think, all the times that Jamie tries to tell him what cuts him off.
It could be just dramatic stuff, but it is really interesting that it is almost always Victoria.
I love how we're attributing, like, because it's a comedy thing, right? Like, oh no, she can't tell him that she's actually a girl, and it's like...
We've got to maintain the dramatic tension, right?
But then we were like, but wait, what if it's something else?
This is what Anon's writing has done to us. Okay, that deserves a son of a bitch point.
Sure,
that deserves a son of a bitch point.
But it's the same thing with, like, things that I keep saying this, things that we saw at the beginning of the game, where it was like, oh, Sarah's orb is red here. That's definitely not because of the light or anything. No. Now it's because she's Crow, right? And it was, you know, this whole thing of we didn't think about it before because it didn't matter. Now we're like...
I mean, it's an Occam's razor situation, right? You go with the simplest...
Well, now everything matters because everything's...
So now Occam's razor is like the most complicated answer rather than the simplest.
Yes.
But yeah, Vic interrupts here, just heading that off. And consider how much different things would be if Jamie had managed to get that out.
Well, the thing is we know that even if she did, he would have been like, "What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. There's no way." Because that's how he. I believe that's how he was after he found out. He's like, "That's ridiculous. There's no way." It's been a while since I played.
Again, and CJ just blows past Vic's like, "What? Hang on, that was real."
It's okay. You'll find out about it later. What?
And Jamie is actually in shock that he hung up on Vic for her. But she also sees a chance to avoid this very awkward conversation.
Hey, isn't it time for you to go to the gym? Actually intentionally activating his programming here. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to go to the gym. You're right, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
And here's the note from the silly ball of light. I mean, it could not be... The only person I can imagine having handwriting like that, other than Sarah, is Ashley, maybe.
Right?
But I mean, I just find it funny that he's lived with her for years. You'd imagine he'd be able to recognize...
That's what I was about to say, but then I'm like, okay, we're trying to maintain that maybe...
No, I don't think that's a suppression thing. I think this is genuinely just, like... This is really an easy thing for even a normal person to overlook.
Well, I mean, he doesn't...
Handwriting is handwriting.
There's lots of things that this CJ version can't figure out at the beginning, okay? We're going to give him some slack here. And I'm going to refrain from calling him dumb because, you know, we both agree that a lot of it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But it is really
funny. I know
funny.
You're doing it mostly as a bit. This note did not help.
I mean, come on. Who else draws smiley faces like that?
Other than Ash.
Yeah.
Ash totally would. Like, let's not pretend. Like,
Ash would draw the ego face.
He put on a brave face for Jamie like he always does. Like, that's a, you know...
Yep. Oh, right. Something changed inside of him. He couldn't stop thinking.
He couldn't
He couldn't bother with the gym. He couldn't concentrate. No, not like that ever stopped him
He couldn't
before.
stop thinking. Like, it's interesting that his first trip to the other side triggers that, where he uses the power of Vic's ring to pull him back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's an interesting little thing. That's where he starts to introspect for the first time in a long time, apparently.
Fucking.
Yes, the random shadow that we always comment on every time.
Yep. That's crazy.
It's totally 100% Crow. But not Crow. We don't know.
I mean, it's probably Keon, considering how much we see her.
This is true. Yeah,
Although I find it interesting that the shadow hit her, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
We don't question it too deeply. There are some moments I still do chalk up just straight up to just early installment weirdness.
Sure, I mean...
He wasn't quite aware of it yet, but this was a new experience for him.
Thing.
God damn it, Anon. Beware for a tidal wave of damn it, of Anon, you son of a bitch.
It's just gonna keep happening. Like, there's no way.
I'm just saying, no, I mean, when I did my last playthrough, I did a count on my own. And I got up to like 70 odd Anon, you son of a bitch moments.
There's Keon right there. Maybe that wasn't Keon, because the shadows don't have her little...
Don't have her antlers, though, which is the giveaway.
Well, I know that part was, but not the shadow. And of course, we get Therese's little introduction.
Oh yeah, so we get to see an insight into their relationship. But yeah, I mean, the weirdness is now actually starting to shake his resolve for the first time.
Or was
plan
he
of
following
something
the
bigger,
plan
and
of
not
someone?
son of a bitch.
Yep, there's another one.
There's going to be a lot in this sequence, like I said. Like
I know it's...
this little arc of crows in this beginning after the intro sequence stuff is, you know, there's a lot. He couldn't act on his desires. Like in the previous line, he couldn't act on his own desires. Like
if this was just some trick, if he was just a pawn in someone else's game.
We're just getting like combo punched with Anon, you son of a bitch.
You like one son of a bitch moment. Now you have two.
Now you have three. He's just rope-a-doped on us straight up. But it's like he puts the mask back on straight away for her. He has to take care of her too, after all. That's his job, right? That's why he's here, right?
It's okay. Calm down.
Just putting the point home, okay? No, son of a bitch. But yes, massively adorable Therese moment.
And of course, Theresa seeing right through it all and being like, it's okay.
And we get a little glimpse into their dynamic here, which is unusual, really, for Theresa, who we've established is incredibly demure up to this point, and yet she feels comfortable doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You're still the same little boy in so many ways. Mm-hmm. You've changed so much, but you're still the same. I mean, she's literally fulfilling Orkzo's role with him right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty, especially after her arc. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
But yeah, I'm just saying, it sets it up even this early that that's their dynamic. And also notice that she's got the 5-petaled lotus as her hairpiece, which is Orkzo's motif in particular. And also the motif Sonya uses on her corporate branding.
Mm-hmm. Which is also the Oot logo.
Which is also the Oot logo. Plans within plans, schemes within schemes, layers within layers.
It was all written out. It just takes Anon forever to, actually write it down. He just has to... It's all in his head. He's just trying to translate it for us.
Stream of consciousness writing, baby. It's a hell of a drug. But yes, we also get a glimpse of Kyone spying here. And with tears in her eyes, no less. Probably out of envy, really.
Yeah.
Like, the grief and the sorrow that she's in cannot be understated.
And then Theresa,
she twigs something, but her powers
she
aren't
sends a
behind
disturbance
it.
to the force. She's like, what is happening?
Yeah, just a little echo. Yeah, just a little echo. 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 Just a I'm sure it was nothing.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
Yep.
Ooh.
Woo! And into chapter 11.
I don't remember if I saw that when I first played it. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I still haven't caught most of the appearances. I mean, I haven't. I suppose she appears when they go to the temple to visit Vic's aunt. She is meant to appear there in like almost every sequence of renders, and I barely caught half of them.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like it's better. It's one of those things where it's better to look for when you're playing it a second time. Like the first time I saw it, like I saw her in the sky or some other things near the end, leading up to the Vic's like death scene. But then I was like, so she was there the whole time. And then looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, she was there the whole time.
Yep. And now it's soon time for MM's favorite time. This is some very Ashley moments.
Old Ashley choker and earrings.
Cat bell choker, no less, to represent how in her very earliest design setups, she was in fact a cat girl.
Look, Rayze, a red hairband. You know what that means?
You know what? I'm not even going to put it out as something that it could. Like, if the other one's blue, if the other one is on the other side is blue, I will fucking not.
Do we ever see it? Oh, it's just right out of view.
Yeah, well, when she's coming around the corner, like before this little bit, do you see it there?
Oh, it's also red.
Okay. I mean, a touch of red with her overall green.
It's foreshadowing.
I'm just saying, a touch of red with her overall blue and green coloring. Now we get to see CJ playing Spot the Rings, which, man, do we end up doing a lot of that ourselves.
Yep.
Frame to frame, they pop in and out of existence because they're not fully realized yet. Leia actually wingmanning the shit out of him with Vic because she obviously wants them to be happy, but she also just wants peace to be, back to normal.
And Sarah realizing what's happening.
Yeah, seeing that his power is starting to come online, as it were. And there's Vic's activated ring.
And he's like, yeah, but that's not a surprise.
Indeed.
The ball of light said they were connected.
Yep.
Jamie,
who will get her ring popping in a little bit. Right there, unactivated. Look at that hand.
Feeling great. What the fuck?
I mean, you can take this as being homophobic, but like it's different when someone is genuinely questioning their sexuality, which is what he's doing. Like he's taking it seriously.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's like, okay, hold on. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He was just told that these rings are for like his beloved, his chosen, the ones he's gonna love and stuff like that, right? Yeah, like his destined. Yeah. And then he sees like his best friend has a ring, and he's like, "That's fucking weird," because I don't think that's what that means. Like, I love my best friend, but not like that. You know what I mean?
He's my bro, but he's not my. He's my bro, not my hoe. What you saying, boy?
She better not have one. And of course, Sarah, feeling what he's feeling, is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck with him for a little bit." With him.
Totally gonna fuck with him. Yeah.
He's hiding something.
She's hiding something. She always looks that way. When she's hiding something. Look at your hands, Sarah. Show me your hands. That's a random thing to ask. I do love this little back and forth. It's cute.
It'd be really funny if she had all of them at that point.
Right.
Surprise!
Well, she doesn't get. She gets those later. Yeah, she gets all of them later, doesn't she? When she properly bonds
red with nail polish.
Red nail. You know that is genuinely a choice as well. Like it doesn't match the rest of her coloring. It's a deliberate choice.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Teresa's ring, and then the last one. Interesting, hers is silver here, but then I think this is an example of early installment
change. Yeah, I think it does change. Yeah.
Because
Leah's was also yellow as well, so it's weird.
Yeah, when it's not active yet. So I do chalk this.
Well,
up to
I do wonder if the original intent was it because Teresa was all about marrying CJ. I mean, it's not like the other ones weren't either, but her in particular was about that. It was supposed to be a legitimate ring.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamie's wasn't didn't have the yin yang thing yet either, so who knows?
True.
But I think doesn't Vic's ring change to be the promise ring after the end?
Okay, so Vic's ring as we see it here has a jewel on it. It looks like a traditional wedding band, like the ring that CJ's got around his neck.
Yes, because isn't it the
But
same ring?
later on, no, later on it
Because
changes
Kyon
into-
eats it.
No, but even before then, it's different because it changes. I think quite soon after this, it changes into looking like just a solid band of that color.
Right, it
Once
does
it's
because it
activated.
does. Yeah, but then
It
afterwards,
kind of codifies into if it's their color, then it's activated. If it's red, it's not activated.
okay.
But I do.
And then in
chalk
Leah's
it
arc,
in
it
this
became,
sequence.
has yellow on it. I remember too.
Yeah. But yes, note that CJ. We have also now established that
was that
CJ's
Leah's
headband and armband is.
I'm not the ring guy. I don't remember.
No, that's technically MM's job, though he do be slacking lately. But yeah, his headband and his raiment that includes his armband changes color. And they swap around what's red and what's green and what's like all that stuff. And that is actually those are his physical representations of his connections to Sarah and Crow. We learn much later, which is why they even the other guys have it because they are shards of OG and they do have that connection, even if it's manifested less directly, just with other Fae.
And then, of course, Leah opening up here, inviting CJ to the tea club. That's just her and Vic.
And Victoria, which is huge, really.
Yeah,
like she
it is.
obviously cherishes her alone time with Vic, so inviting CJ in is a big deal. She's really trying hard to push them together. Which you might think is at odds with how she feels later, but I think it's totally accurate. It's
no, I mean,
she's overcompensating.
she's never been inconsistent with how she's been treating
No,
CJ
not
when
at
it comes
all.
to
It's
Vic.
Yeah.
I mean, she loves Vic, but she also loves CJ. So,
Yeah. Well, although she doesn't know about how the romantic element of her feelings for him yet.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Green. See? The green. There we go. Oh, there's the red again. God, it's all connected.
Red again. And there's the blue. Look at all that blue as well. And then the Cupid arrows. I don't know what the Cupid earrings really are, but I'm just trying to.
Anyone trying to claim her property was wrong.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of her.
Uh-oh.
This is Ashley in a nutshell, as we see her initially presented, where she's possessive, but not in a malicious way. Just in a I want his attention, almost very childish in a lot of respects, which is exactly how Hebe is talked about by the other goddesses later as well. So it fits.
I love this dialogue.
Yes. And it does add to the fact that the two that CJ and Ash together is like it's chaos incarnate, right? They are a danger to each other and others when they do.
They should not be alone. Things will explode.
It is interesting. She's one of the few to also get significant narration this early. Other than CJ, she's the only one I think who gets.
I'm very interested to see the narration we get for the next chapter,
if any.
I would be surprised if we didn't. We got narration for everybody when it was their designated chapter.
Okay, the girls go off to change into their kimonos for the tea ceremony, and then all the girls go off and do their various bits and bobs. Fist bump for his bro. Pound it, baby.
Or something. That's what you say,
you'll
right?
be saying that. You'll be saying that with a different fucking intonation in a little while.
All right. Nope. It's still chapter 50. Hasn't happened yet. Don't let him get your hopes
We're
up.
close, bro. We just gotta believe.
It's never gonna happen.
Sarah needs to go do some investigations. And swim club.
And swim club.
No, she likes swimming. It's her natural thing, so it makes sense that she would really be into
Shoes
it.
off. Fucking, yeah.
What's the worst thing that could happen? And here
The
we get
color
our first
scheme would
glimpse of
change.
Carpo. This is our first glimpse of Carpo. With her theme as well kicking in. Sarah immediately detecting that he's projecting himself to the side.
Hey, it's
Red
red.
Sarah! Red Sarah!
There it is. There it is.
Fucking soy jack moment with the two of us going,
Oh my god. It's all connected.
it's all connected. But yeah, CJ is, doing his thing now. Just he's not in control of his powers yet, even remotely. It's worth noting he does quickly seem to get a grip on it, though, consciously or otherwise.
Sarah not trying to reveal it yet. It's been like 2 minutes.
Although it's really obvious to us, really, especially with the identical color coding for Sarah and second voice. But yes, he's obviously here being drawn by Carpo's presence.
And Sarah dogging on CJ. I know for a fact you've never been to a shrine.
He's been living in California. They don't exactly have a lot of shrines. Give him a break.
I know,
Come
but
on.
I just think it's funny that even before when he was living here, he still didn't go to a shrine.
Yeah, but I strongly suspect that's more to do with Stacy than anything
Yeah,
else.
that's also fair. That's also really fair. Not everything is CJ's fault.
You're right. Yeah, I sure I'd fucking love it too. Now get me the fuck out of you if something eats me.
You're not in any danger. Are you sure about that?
I mean, she doesn't understand yet. Even Sarah, as strong as she is for a Fae at this point, she doesn't.
You know what I sense? A dumb ball that won't tell me who they are.
Right? It was supposed to be like this, CJ. Come to the gym. And even he can try even to a stranger. Like he's so empathetic. This boy, I tell you.
It's God. I know we're attributing CJ's lack of like what's going on, understanding to him not being fully like aware of like his mental state or allowed or whatever. But I'm like, oh, come on, man. Who else would talk to you this way? Like, there's nobody else. You've lived with her for what? How long was it?
5 years.
5 years?
Give or take.
Jesus.
Yeah. And here, yeah, like his capo interrupting them. And she's still in her observations. So that's the point. She's just watching, keeping her distance. My love.
And of course, Carpo being incredibly patient because all she has is time.
Well, she's a planner. She's aggressive, but she isn't quite as crazed as Kione's desperation.
I mean, yes, I agree, but I was also making a
CJ.
fun joke.
Nice going, CJ. Good job, my guy. Oh, hey, Vic, like he gets distracted so easily, and it's played off as like, you know, oh, it's just, you know, he's just a bit of a himbo, teehee, and it's like, but is it? No, that's the point. Right? Is it just that?
Is it? I don't know. Happens quite a bit, and then it stops happening.
And then it stops happening. Yeah.
No. It's just how he was writing it at the very beginning. Is it, or was it intentional? See,
or are we just massively huffing the copium? And CJ, of course, just walks in.
Come on, guess what I found?
He's so pure, like he doesn't see them sexually at all. It's seemingly. And Vic's response is that as well. She's just like, she doesn't care. It's like, oh, thanks, thank you for bringing me up. Vic's like, Vic, what the fuck?
And of course, like, her top is completely exposed. She doesn't have anything over it. And she's like, wait, what'd you find? And she's like, here's your phone. And they're both acting completely normal. And Leah's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? But, like... And it's just, you know, get him out of here.
It's CJ.
And it's just really interesting that that's her reaction. Like, or even at this early point when things already just really started getting fixed, that they're just... She just is that accepting of him. Love is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I do admit, I know we're getting into the serious stuff with Oot when it comes to the later chapters, and I do love it. I do miss moments like these where it was, you know, sweet, funny. You know,
yeah,
I know that we can't all have it, and it's fine. I get it, and I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm just like, man, it's really nice to see this early stuff again.
Yeah, and we do get some of that. Like the first couple of chapters of Kieran's arc are pretty light.
Sure. Well, I mean, as light as it can get for Kieran, considering like the first few panels were of like someone being fucking murdered, but you know, light.
Well, this is the thing, right? Kieran's arc was always going to be a heavy arc because there is just so much emotional baggage.
I know.
Kieran and all.
Kieran is like,
Ash, I think, is going to be a bit more of a balance between the two once we get through the initial.
I gotta say I was super happy with the Kieran art because Kieran was always my favorite character story wise. Like Vic was a close second, but like.
Yeah.
Of course, it's really easy to say that that Kieran's like your favorite story wise because also you're saying that about Crow and stuff
And
too.
Sarah.
So
Yeah.
it's like not fair, but I mean I just love it. It was so fucking good.
I mean, who doesn't love a good redemption arc?
Yeah, I mean we had I mean
And
to be fair,
bear
we
in
didn't know
mind
how,
what
this
we.
was how it was going to end up whenever we were first going on the Kieran
Yeah, no,
redemption
for
arc
sure.
here.
But yeah, this little sequence is interesting as well in a little way. Just a small thing, but from what we know about Leia, if anyone else had walked in and seen her like that she would literally have gouged their eyes out. That's not even exaggerating.
Yes, of course.
But instead, all she does is just pout a little and go, "Promise."
Yeah, I was about to say, and of course she
Why are
can't
you
say
so
mad
hard
at
to man? Why indeed, Leia? Anon, you son of a bitch.
him.
Vic looking on like as if like that's like, yeah, of course. Kind of pre-presaging them dynamic later once they've consolidated their romantic connections.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting that Leia, in some ways, is already showing signs of being into CJ, at least very small signs.
Really proud of CJ here for not doing anything while they were doing that as well.
Well, why would he? They wouldn't want him to, would they?
Oh, of course. I hate you, bro. Shut up. That's no. We can't keep doing this. Everything everything CJ does is called into question. Did CJ really mean to do that, or did they just want him to do that?
Well, I mean, and I admit, I full disclosure, I'm doing this very deliberately.
Yeah, I know. I know.
In the sense that I'm also, but see, in the sense of kind of trying to nail home just why CJ is going to have such a traumatic time, because this is exactly what he's going to be doing to himself now.
Yep.
Second guessing anything he's ever done, anything he does in the moment. And here we get our first
the desk.
Chapter 11 is arguably, I think, one of the shortest chapters. It's really short.
Yep.
And then straight into chapter 12, where things are about to get a bit more. What the fuck? Yes, Crow.
I can feel the Crow hatred.
You can feel the crazy, right?
The Crow beginning hatred from everybody that hates Crow. It's starting right now.
Schizophrenia, indeed. And it smells, but it doesn't smell like normal blood because it's not. It's spiritual blood. It's literally the blood of a soul, which is, oof, that's something, right?
Stalker, you just got here.
Yona does seem to like to watch, after all.
No.
Yeah, Crow. Crow cultists going crazy. No one
not
real
really. Not in a real way.
That is Leia's.
I do remember. I remember. Don't they think it might be Ashley for like a second?
Yeah, just for a second. Because of how possessive she is.
I know. It's just saying. Maybe.
Especially when they talk about how it could be like you don't even need. They may not even realize. There's one other person? Question mark. How do I even you son of? I told you this arc is so rife with
so
this shit.
Fucking funny. That's so funny. How do I even know they're not the same person? Just fucking with me.
Yeah.
It's not like I saw them both at the same time. Oh my god.
I'm gonna see what this Dumbwaller light wants. And then Sarah comes in and we see an immediate demeanor shift. Sarah serious mode in 3, 2. Has anyone else seen this? No. She could almost certainly feel the spiritual traces once she looks at it.
Yep.
But yeah, poor CJ getting grilled.
Oh no, she's hot.
It's the garter belt. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is super hot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Also, interestingly, has the classic red eyes that we normally associate with Faye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I mean, it is a little bit hard to figure out. Well, because you would think that if that was a direct correlation for everybody, that Vic's eyes would be like purple, or they would be red like Kyon's are. But I mean,
it's not. It's just aesthetic most of the time.
Yeah. But I mean, then you look at a little bit of a side note, like Tropicali. Some characters, are like,
Yeah.
Mio's eyes are red. Kind of weird, but probably doesn't mean anything. Maybe.
Especially in a time where a basic gene mod can probably change your eye color.
Yeah. I mean, right? I would assume that's just the case. It doesn't mean anything, but it can mean. Yeah. Well, it's like Leah's eyes right now, I think, are just straight up brown. I don't think they get lighter.
No. And they do get lighter, though they don't go all the way. They sort of become a more autumnal brown.
Teresa's were already. I mean, like her eyes literally look like the rising sun.
Yeah, she has amber eyes, so that's just. Sarah, obviously, she's doing spiritual scanning, as it will, right now. That we just, we don't know yet. And she can't figure it out, and it really bothers her. Because she takes her job incredibly seriously. Kuro herself calls her out on it. Like, yeah, you play the happy-go-lucky. They don't want Sarah the blessed idiot all the time. Sometimes they need the other Sarah, who is Crow. But you know what I mean. Vic immediately, everyone comes to his side except Sarah, who's still pissed with herself.
Unacceptable.
Leia's like, no, fuck you. Oh yeah, hers are actually they are yellowish. They're all brown with a tinge of yellow, aren't they? This is, Sarah full serious mode. You'll be fine. I actually like this sequence for another reason as well. I like the fact the girls are the ones taking the initiative here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Them taking the initiative in the beginning.
But then CJ wouldn't be the ideal that the goddesses imagine if he wouldn't go out and do stuff, because that's not how Old Glory was.
No.
You gotta remember, he's their ideal dream, which, has a lot of weight and consequence to it.
And his fucking ball. I know that they're talking about Sarah, but I do imagine it's just Anon's ball head.
Just Anon. I mean,
what is this fucking ball talking about?
In my own head, in my own heart, I believe.
Oh,
Ashley, staring, completely oblivious to the madness going on.
I know, it's just nuts that she didn't hear about it at all or anything.
I mean, it just shows that she was at swim practice, right? So maybe they just were too busy swim practicing. Then she sees him on her way back and just instantly. Wait, it's a trail inside.
Oh yes, CJ, use that big brain of yours. Of course, papers leading to one room means a trail.
And Ash looking fine as a. Although I do really appreciate her shift in style later to the G-string and shorts. Like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
And Gotcha, senpai. Have to pay attention to. You're on the ball. Ball?
Ball? What?
What ball? I'm a ball? I don't get it.
Right, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Because anybody else it would, you know.
Right? Oh, she's so fucking precious. She really
I know.
is.
I'm excited for Ashley arc. I mean, I've been excited for every arc,
Um,
but you know.
Yeah, we are absolutely like. I'm genuine. I know it sounds like a giant cop out, but I am genuine when I say I adore all of them. Even the more demure ones who are not usually my type, like Teresa. How
Yeah, I
cool
mean,
he
it's
is.
hard not to like. I mean, like every arc has been great, and getting any time from any of the characters is good. I feel like Ash obviously has had this coming a long time with the new chapter, considering we don't hardly
I
get
mean,
a whole lot of
she's the last one
focus.
for. Anon himself has said she's the last one for a reason.
Well, because
I strongly
she's probably
because her,
getting a bigger arc than the rest, because with
well,
how we're
technically
switching
her.
it next.
Well, yeah, RGB as a whole is kind of Ash's arc. Like she had quite a big role in Kieran's arc at various points, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean,
It's her
especially
family as well.
considering it dealt with like her family and all that.
And obviously there was a whole subplot with Hebe and finally reaching her and getting that ring activated.
Yeah, I mean, we know where we need to go now, and oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, indeed.
Yeah.
And we just have to do it while CJ's having a gigantic existential crisis.
No, 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 no. It'll be fine. What do you mean? Nothing
What do
bad's
you
gonna
mean?
happen. It's just gonna keep building until 28, and then someone's gonna like something
Yeah,
awful's gonna
58.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that 58 is the lowest point emotionally. So
Did we
Actually,
discuss whether or not that was solely for CJ or for the whole group,
we don't know.
or was
Anon
that
has not
or for
clarified.
Oot itself?
I think he said oot for itself. I think that was the implication.
That's what.
But again,
Okay.
this is, which I can see that being the case. I've expounded my theories extensively before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. If they're in the public spoilers, if people are curious. So I'm not going to.
This guy
repeat it
doesn't.
again here, but
This guy types novels in public spoilers for Oot. You guys should go go read it.
I have words. I have words, and they come forth.
I have opinions, and they won't stop.
I have feelings, and I must express them. Okay, smartass. Yep, CJ getting notes now. Sarah feeding them basic information. And this is where we also learn that CJ is completely compromised. That
Yep.
the spirits, at least, can see everything he sees, hear everything he hears. It's Ash is just, huh?
Well, she's not asking any questions. She's like, "What's going on? I'm not a ball. What are you talking about?"
Who? I don't know anyone's got any fucking fox ears.
Don't you?
Don't you? No way. She fits though. You wouldn't even know she did it. Ash really gets freaked out by that, but and then immediately we get reassured it couldn't have.
Oh right, yeah, because it couldn't have been Ashley, because Sarah was with her the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it's interesting that CJ, despite wanting to know who the person is, lets them keep their, privacy. And the first thing he does is reassure Ash, which
Oh,
is
so sweet. I do miss these earlier moments. Fuck. So much pain and suffering for the
there
next
was a
couple
pure, there
hundred
was a, there
fucking
was a
chapters.
purity. Yeah, no, there is a purity and a simplicity, but it's the simplicity and purity of ignorance and naivete, right? So.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just kind of nice. Sometimes it is just kind of nice to go, man, we have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but it's okay. Everything's fine right now. You know what? I thought today went pretty good.
Up until that. I mean, you got to see some cracking tits, so weird.
Of course. 2 pairs.
Peak existence.
Peak.
Books are for nerds.
That's right, CJ. Books are for nerds. It's so true. Who would read to enjoy their time?
Unironically enjoying reading things. Imagine. Massive invasion of privacy to test everybody's blood, by the way. Like, holy shit, that school takes this seriously. And he just falls asleep, and then, boop. Here we go again.
You didn't learn your lesson.
Not that he probably has much choice, because...
I mean, sure, it's like, okay, I can't sleep ever now?
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you had the... taking naps whenever you wanted...
Yep, and here we are in Crow's natural environment, an onsen on a mountain. And this is the revamped Crow sequence.
Oh, do we want to listen to this?
With voice acting, yes, this is actually... This is Ali's voice acting.
I didn't think you'd be that considerate.
It also has different dialogue, which is interesting. Revamped.
I should thank you. I hadn't seen that white hag in nearly an eon.
Nearly an eon.
She must have crawled into some hell of her own devising after...
It's interesting that she references some particular event there.
Brought her out again. Quite enthusiastically on her
Like,
part.
Hyone's been quiet, apparently, for a while up until now. At least as far as Crow.
Well, so this would have been after... Well, obviously, this takes place after she swallows Jacob and Cameron, so maybe after that she, like, fucking disappeared. I mean,
Could be. Could be.
So it seems like she should have, right? So if she consumes the shard of this world, they should have just gone away, but for some reason, either they willingly or subconsciously created CJ, and it's kind of weird, because then she would have either... I'm more of the opinion that they didn't do it on purpose, like,
Yeah,
the way
I feel
that
like
it seems.
Hayato is making some assumptions when he talks about...
Yeah,
events, and
because
that's
if
sort of-
Kyon just came back, like, all of a sudden, then she probably didn't... I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it was a willing thing, and then she was gone after eating the two, and then
Well,
it's like, oh, wow, now we're back.
They're seeming ignorance of like what happened with Cameron and Jacob and everything is really odd.
Well, and,
I mean, maybe they
they
are
don't
pretending
mention it
it's-
either. They don't mention
Yeah,
it
like
at all.
they don't like. I mean, Orkso's reaction to CJ turning up is like, you know, it's like she didn't even know that Cameron existed. Kyone's reaction, it's implied at one point that Kyone has been in hiding in the Hirawa shrine for generations, long before CJ was born, long before Cameron was born. So there are some very odd time shenanigans going on here that we still haven't fully understood.
Yeah, that timeline on this is not very clear.
It was just as bad as I remember. And I do remember. Unlike her.
Do you though?
Do you know? Do you know, Crow? Do you? Just because you got a great pair of tits doesn't mean that you can,
Yes.
like, fool us.
I do
I only
remember.
see a blurry line. I don't know what
She
you're
was
talking
right.
about.
Oh, yeah, just pixelated. Yeah, my bad.
It was my fault.
She's
My
just got a
day.
great set of pixels.
She doesn't remember. That's why. She owes
Yes,
me.
they all do.
They all do.
But yes, this is Ali voice acting once again, quite
Of
really,
course.
really well.
Yes,
if you know Ali's natural voice, like in what
Yeah,
voice
it
she
is
uses
a-
most of the time,
It's like really
It is
crazy.
astonishing.
It is really crazy.
It
Voice actors
kind
be
of
talented as
freaky.
shit, dude.
yeah, like it's kind of freaky how deep she manages to get her voice to work for.
And it doesn't
For
sound
sure.
weird at all. It sounds completely real.
And it sounds completely natural. It doesn't sound put on.
After all I did. That's how
But
they
here we get a
treat me.
glimpse into Crow's mentality. She keeps repeating that, oh yeah, no, I know the truth. Of course I do. I know. It's their fault. They treat me like this. Like, classic signs of just how far gone she is at this point. Like, this is Crow at her lowest in a lot of ways right now. It's overall, in the timeline of her existence. Like, she's at her most broken in this in these early
Yeah, I mean,
chapters.
it's the entail of being alone for how long it was.
Being
you know?
made to,
This
yeah,
is
being
it.
made to
This
watch,
is the end
no,
of
being
that.
made to watch, and being made to watch and fail again and again and
Sitting
again
right
and
behind
again.
me. I know. I can feel you.
And she's confronted now
Fear
literally
you.
by, as far as she can tell, the one she's looking for. The one she's always been looking for.
Hmm.
I can hear my voice in your ears. See my body in your eyes.
That'll be
No
important
matter
later.
how much time has passed.
Yeah.
No matter how many cycles we've been through.
I mean, arguably this entire sequence is a Anon, you son of a bitch moment right here. Because of how
No,
it all
you
works.
can't. This is my
terms of-
dream. Remember?
This is my dream. What?
There's no one to interrupt us now, darling. I feel your fear. I understand. I do. I feel every thought that goes through your head. I feel every flutter of your heart.
Is it? I can't remember.
How
Did she,
invasive that is as well. Like how
Yeah.
invasive that is. Like having someone who knows every thought that goes through your head and what you see and what you feel is incredibly invasive.
I was made to carry those burdens for you. So let me. You've
I mean,
been
it's a good
along
example
for
also of how
so
love can
long.
genuinely be twisted into something so twisted. Like
Haven't you realized
he loves
that
him
yet?
so much that I'll take on all of your burdens, and in so doing, completely infantilize you and take away your free will.
Room high long
Classic
before
abuser
you
logic.
theirs. And here you are again, after so many years. You have no idea how long
I can't remember. Did she say anything during
the
the scene that we need to listen to? Or
I mean,
can
not
just
hugely.
record?
It's mostly just her being really flirty and talking and possessive for the most
Yeah.
Come
part.
here. Touch me again. Let me serve you once more, darling.
Like for someone who's insisting that these sequences you don't need to worry about. It's all just sound effects
Yeah.
with an occasional line
Am I
thrown in.
We are two.
It's interesting that the look on
I'll
CJ's
keep that
face
in.
there.
That's fine.
Yeah, the look on CJ's face there is a perfect correlation to the look on CJ's face in the prologue. When
No,
he's
don't say that. I
with-
can't. I hate you. No.
Why? You
Because
don't need to show it.
I was just gonna blur out. His face is so close to her tits. I
You
was just gonna
don't need to
blur it.
worry. You can literally don't. They know what I'm talking about. They're
How
not
it was
fools. They can go
always
look it
so
up themselves.
fucking funny.
So don't worry
This
about
guy's
it.
making more work for me to do.
Well, I wouldn't want you to get bored now, would I?
That's right where I left. I can
Of
feel
course.
everything you feel. I've messed
But yeah. She just create. I mean,
But this is
if you
also
cut past,
Kieran as
like,
well.
If you cut, yeah. It's interesting that it affects her physical body though. When this
Yes,
is a dream.
because she mentions this earlier, like later. Like, by the way,
Yeah,
yeah.
you kind of took my virginity.
Oh, my mom. They don't remember either. None of them.
This is
think I'm
Crow,
so
and this is
monster.
we see in
You
the
do.
aftermath we see Crow's
A demon.
mind.
I
Cracking.
gave up my happiness for them.
I gave up my happiness for
Gave.
them.
Up.
You.
And you know
So
what?
pausing here,
I regret it. I regret it
this
with every
line in
fiber of
particular,
my
that few
being.
sequence of lines, that is Kieran. That is the part that becomes Kieran playing here. She talks about it. She's literally expels out here that she regrets the fact that she cared so much about the others as well as loving OG that she went along with whatever plan it was that led her to do what she needed, what happened.
Right.
She regrets it. Like that is specifically literally the part of herself that Kieran is and will become at the end of this little arc. She literally spells it out. It's the part of her that allowed her to care about other people and therefore act in the interests of others rather than solely in CJ's interest or OG's
Didn't know
interest.
the
Same
price I was going to truly pay.
Which is why it gets left behind, in my opinion.
I won't lose you now.
Not this time.
If they try to take you from me again,
Even she believes that he is the one at this point. I believe that the other part of reasons she left Kieran is what gets left behind after she leaves
Kill them.
is that
Kill every single
when
one.
with Crow getting defeated again there at the very cusp of success is probably like the last straw for her in a sense, right? Like she might regret having that part of herself, but now she just wants to be rid of it completely. She's so close, so close. She can't afford any more weakness She can't afford any more failure, and that's the part she blames for failing, for
Rip those
anything that
fragile
goes
mortal
wrong.
shells they cling to apart and scatter them on the walls. I'll feed their fucking eyes. to
Ali
one
really
another.
changed the way I actually read these lines as well. She's a lot more
Look at
fragile
whatever
and
curse
febrile
things that spawn them suffer
in the way she
first.
says them. It's
I'll
it's
see.
not just rage. It's just
I'll make
there's
them
grief, there's sadness, there's fear, there's fear and pain all mixed together into a very, very delicate mix of emotions. You know. But yeah, we also have maximum beady eye crow here, which is, as Anon stated, a sign of
You
insanity.
belong to no one else.
Like the fragility that Crow demonstrates with those lines is really, really, really shows how damaged she is. The girl's waiting for CJ. Man, I wonder if that's symbolic of anything.
Ugh.
Symbolic of CJ when they're all paranoid about each other. I got so mad she almost cried. That's Leia in a nutshell. I almost
Right,
got
'cause
so
they didn't get
angry.
it-
I cried, and I almost cried.
Right, and then of course Vic being here, like they didn't get a chance to talk about what happened in the dream last night. So she's like, okay, so something's happened.
Yeah,
But then,
and there's
but then
something
this is
weird going
happening
on.
too.
And she,
Like,
don't forget, she also sees what CJ saw. So she saw the red spirit, as how they think of it at this point, that we know is Crow. No, she saw all that, and she also knows that red spirit said, "You belong to me," which is what was cast. And she puts it together. She's not stupid.
oh
not
right,
just being-
wait, yes, but because this is right before that happens from procedure. She's about to see all that, right? Isn't that what happens, or does she not yet? Because I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know if she sees Crow's dream, because is it explicitly the other side, or is it just entering someone's dream via it? I'm not sure.
I don't
really
know.
not sure.
I didn't think, because I can't remember at what point. Because I know we both know that Vic can see everything that CJ does on the other side, and Crow said it was a dream, but also when Vic didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember at what point she's like, "Oh yes, now I see everything," or if that particular thing with Crow didn't happen on the other side, even though it seems like it did, because it also affected Kieran.
Well, we know that there's like layers of the other side, right? So
I would think that
this
she
could
should.
be a case.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she should, but then maybe the connection isn't fully enabled yet. I don't know. But Leia knows Vic so well.
And then, of course, Vic is like, I had a weird dream.
And it's just that Leia takes it seriously.
Okay, so
She
yeah.
doesn't question it.
So she can do the thing now, but I guess she won't see Crow's part that's about to happen.
Because it's not CJ's dream, it's Crow's dream, maybe? Question marks? I mean, that's a question we could throw at Anon. Like, it might just be... Yeah, she says... Yeah, so that might be it.
Because at this point, it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen, or it's about to happen. And
Yeah. Or happening, so...
Right. And it doesn't... She doesn't get all the info until he leaves
Correct.
the other side.
It's at the end of the experience, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean... Anon, you son of a bitch. Go back. 2. I saw her face, and it wasn't anyone I recognized, but it was so familiar.
Yeah.
Like, it's because she remembers as well. Victoria remembers, like, Keone remembers her true face. So that, again, is just more foreshadowing that, yes, Vic and Crow, Sarah and Crow are the same person. And, oh, God, she felt so familiar. Yeah, yes, she did.
Hmm.
A white spirit with a hole in her chest, and a sort of floating light. And again, Leia just takes this completely seriously, which just shows her complete faith in Victoria.
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know how I would feel if my best friend was like, dude, I just saw this fucking dream, and because knowing my
You
friend,
would, I mean,
right?
you might not fully believe it, but I think you would probably give that
Well,
person
sure,
the benefit
but
of
like,
the doubt, right?
if my friend told me that, I'd be like, first, I know you don't do drugs, so this is either a joke or you just had some wild ass experience, right? I don't know if I
Right.
believe he was telling the truth.
You would believe that they would believe is how
Sure,
I
no,
look
I
at it.
would believe that. Like, if he told me, like, yeah, I had this dream, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I believe you. It's fine. I believe that's what you saw.
Right. And this obviously puts pieces together for Sarah to figure stuff out.
And then she doesn't mention that she saw Jamie. And then we
She
haven't
does.
seen Jamie.
Well, not. Well, she probably doesn't think. She only saw a couple of glimpses of Jamie, didn't she? So even CJ only saw Jamie a couple of times in glimpses.
Yeah.
And she says she saw it like a dream, so maybe it was blurred or muddled.
Oh.
The girls, and then Leia does not like
God, this is why we love
inaction.
Leah.
She just does not like inaction.
Why are we just standing around like retards?
Is that a fucking problem? We can't rely on anyone else to go solve it for us. And there's her ring. Yeah. And then Victoria and Leia taking proactive action, as is befitting.
Want to do something stupid? Are you sure about that?
Passionate
Yes.
nature. I mean, that's kind of a motif for the whole gang, really.
Yeah.
That's Teresa reluctantly in tow. And they do some pretty genuine, good deductive reasoning here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
again,
I assume there's not a whole lot of sharp objects in school. Where else would you get something to
yeah,
stab yourself?
and Teresa helps put together the pieces, again, showing that she isn't just a wallflower. She's not just, she's the one who remembers that there's medical bags kept on standby, and those are now missing. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm pandering, but it is genuinely rare to see non-male protagonists in an AVN taking proactive steps and not just helplessly waiting for the MC to drive every step of the narrative.
But we know why we can't really compare is because most AVNs just kind of suck when it comes to doing things in equal terms for the other characters.
Well, even good ones often struggle with that, I find. Not always mine, but even some of the better ones.
Sure, but because what's the goal of most AVNs?
It's power fantasy, right? So,
yeah, it's that. It's all about
some form of personal fantasy.
And for some, it's like, the story's like secondary. It's fine,
And that's I mean, my basic bottom line with AVNs is that you as long as you just show me what you're about. If you just want to be a game with porn scenes and the story exists to support that, that's totally fine. Just commit to that bit and you're absolutely fine. And it can still totally work. Like, some of my favorite AVNs are genuinely just porn games with some bits of story stringing them together just enough to justify it.
Mm-hmm. And I love how that's one thing I do that people complain about when it comes to, it's like, there wasn't any sex scenes in like 15 or whatever this was. But I feel like that kind of just lets you know, like, what this game's going to be. It's not just going to be about that. Like, the whole beginning is about story, and then you get stuff instead of it being
and
like...
also, and I think there's a rising audience for that as well, because people...
Oh, I guess Prologue.
Yeah, Prologue, even then...
I'm viewing that as that got added after, but sure.
For sure. Like, that is actually a fairly recent addition, all things considered. But we're getting kind of into general AVN philosophy now, so let's focus out.
What's so nuts is before I played this game, I didn't really give a fuck about how the games were made or whatever. I just was just interested in playing them. It is. And I'm so fucking jaded now. I'm so fucking.
I mean, that's true for anyone, I think, who spends an appreciable time in the AVN sphere.
It's like
you
now that I'm looking at it,
more refined taste.
I know, because now that
I can't play almost any other Koi games.
Right, this is kind of
I genuinely can't play almost any other Koi games because of Out of Touch. Because all other Koi just looks like trash to me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's a few that still manage to look good. Something Better still looks still looks good to me. Bubba's stuff is consistently improving.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
there's a couple that
it,
manage it, but not
it either
many,
has to have its
not
own
many.
unique style of creating characters, or they have to look like pretty good.
Yeah, like
We,
genuine, just pure
we've
skill.
we've dulled our taste on fucking Oot. I swear to God,
Yeah.
especially with Tropicali. Oh my God, like all the characters he makes are just fucking golden now.
Sumptuous is the word I like to use for Tropicali. Like, everything about it is very, very glitzy, glammy, sumptuous, which is part of its kind of allure.
Yeah.
But yes, Teresa is the one who's like notices that there's the bags missing.
You think Ashley would know? She hits her head and
She
comes
hits
in
her
here
head
all
and
the
comes
time.
in all the time.
That's why she the klutz.
Klutz. Big red and white ones. So like I said, really solid deductive reasoning here. Like it's not. I'm not saying that they're geniuses, but that's basic stuff, and they're taking available information and making logical conclusions. And clearly portraying that in dialogue is trickier than you'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically there is more than one.
Technically, yes.
Technically,
Yes. Technically.
Get out of here while we can. And here's the girl herself. Old design Kieran before her glow up. When
Is that
I say
how I
glow
used to
up,
look?
I mean that very literally. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Me? You implying it's me? I slit my wrist. Like, totally basically admitting it was her there.
Well, because she's like, no, I didn't cut my wrists.
Right? Her physical body is, in fact, undamaged. It's the spiritual that she bled from, hence the smell. You're a rapist. You're a fuckboy. And you... I don't know who fucking cares about you. Damn, so cold. Fire crotch bitch. I love Leia so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Crow, like I said, at her cruelest, confronting people she hates the most. Just hurting them for the chance to hurt them. And it's Teresa who steps in to help. Like, Leia's actually more in pieces, and Teresa's the one who steps in and is like, no, just breathe, look at me. What the fuck? And this is where we learn just how little time passes. What a fucking nut job. Smoke. Even
even when a life threatened, smoking hot though. Goddamn.
I mean, she basically raped him in that onset. He wasn't able to consent or move. That was actually
yes. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. You know what? I'm not gonna make a comment about it.
You're not just gonna let that one go?
No, because I feel
you're
like
just afraid of the coke. You're afraid of the crow
I feel like
coming.
I'm not afraid of the.
I understand.
No,
I'm not afraid of them.
I'm not afraid of them. I'm more afraid of people that are way more obsessed with the each individual characters than like the collective whole. But also, making a comment about that or even a joke is just a good way to get an angry DM. So I'm not gonna do that.
Come at me, crow cowards. I fear you not.
No, you can take all your DMs to Rayze because I'll just not respond.
All right, lots of messages. And this is where we get apparently an illusion, but it's not an illusion. It's like a projection of Misaki that Crow uses to lure CJ out. And then sees her, and this is Misaki seeing ours. Well, seeing the CJ we know for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ just helps. She just goes to help. He doesn't care. And spiritual pain is apparently like way more than normal pain, and that's why she's able to bleed so much. which is just ugh. And even now, she's trying to get the words out, and she knows him, and she's the other boy from my dreams.
Oh, Misaki.
Yeah. This counts as a non-son of a bitch moment because she's talking about Jacob here. She's actually talking about Jacob,
Right?
Not
Yeah.
CJ. But is Jacob CJ? I feel like Jacob is CJ. It's a joint soul situation, similar but not necessarily the same as Jamie and Mizzy, for instance, and the Crow trio. The Crow-rio. Crow trio? Get it? Crow-rio? Anyway.
This fucking guy.
Listen to this fucking
Slowly spiraling into insanity. It's all Crow.
It's all Crow all the way down. You don't understand. But yeah, he just wants to help her, and she just is happy to see him. Fucking Misaki, our cinnamon bun. If you kill her in 58, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
There's no way.
Really? There's no way. You want to put money on that?
Your theory makes sense and it's good, but I'm just like, there's no way that's what's gonna happen.
It is my second place theory for that.
I don't think so. I think
Misaki
you
dying is
have
my second
gotten
place.
me out of the mindset that Anon really wants our characters to suffer through, not like just like the choices that are made and not just kill them off. So.
No, but the thing is, Misaki is kind of a gap in this because she doesn't appear in the promotional material. She doesn't have her own arc per se. She doesn't like
But she's really important to like.
Yeah, but see, death can mean a lot of different things, right? What if her death is her folding into ash? And rejoining with Ash as a piece of Hebe, right? Like, there's a whole bunch of different potentials at play here. And here we see Crow springing the trap. And one of the few times we see Crow go a bit
I do wonder, though. Hold on. I do wonder, because who she sees here isn't... Okay, so, hold on. Who she sees here isn't Crow. Crow does talk after this, but she sees Kyon.
Yeah, but she's probably so traumatized she can barely tell the spiritual difference.
Maybe?
Is that Kyon or is that Crow?
No, that's... I want... Wait, is that not...
Pretty sure that's Crow.
Hold on. We have to see who comes... Hold on. Is it not going to show us? Oh, fuck.
Not until... No, it doesn't. It doesn't show us. I'm pretty sure that's Crow, though.
It probably is.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the most sense.
Yeah. It's gotta be. Okay.
That was just her playing on CJ's emotional vulnerabilities to draw him out. And also, you have to understand that there's a good chunk of the reason why Crow tortures Misaki the way she does is because Misaki is Hebe to her. She's the part that she couldn't corrupt and remove from Misaki's soul. And here we see Jamie just a little in their element, more in their element. Able to relax, try and process what's happened and focus on more mundane things. Mm-hmm. And also, we get our first mention of Matoi. Matoi, my beloved. But we don't get to see Matoi yet.
We love the maids. It's fine.
We do love all the maids. I have a soft spot for all of them. I just hope Mikan gets her own some of her own focus now. Mayu's had a ton, Matoi's had a ton. I just want it's Mikan's turn.
It's so hard to focus on so many characters. I think Anon does his best.
It is. Like I don't begrudge this of Anon. I am speaking purely from my perspective as a
selfishly. I want.
Yeah, this is the list of things that I want. Thank you, Anon. Give me these things, please.
Yeah, well, if you give him enough money, I'm sure he'll do it.
I mean, I've got something in the works for the future which you guys might appreciate as a result of that, and that's all I'm going to say for now. And here's Mayu, the horniest, or at least openly horniest of trio of maids. She's actually a pretty excellent foil. To
Yes.
Yes. It's just yes. Mayu is hella cute. She is pretty excellent. Then we get a little glimpse into Jamie's life as the budding
The Nepo baby.
CEO.
I mean, yes, as the
Babe.
to-be CEO.
I mean, I wouldn't really call it a Nepo thing when your whole appointment was based on stealing your soul to replace you.
Sure, but she doesn't know that. I mean,
He's not short, and Jamie totally just revealing that she is into someone. And Maya just absolutely picks up on that. She's like, she's not stupid. Jamie opens up a little.
how
bit.
does
But
she
doesn't
not
have much
immediately
trust.
know who she's talking about? Anyway,
She probably does, but she recognizes that if she calls him out, calls CJ out as being the guy, Jamie's just going to clam up. She knows Jamie well enough by this point that you've got to let Jamie come to you on her terms.
mm-hmm.
See, in a sense, that's really pure advice.
What Jamie thought she'd say.
I mean, she's just her meaning that she takes. Like,
Yeah.
Mayo's talking about nailing the shit out of him. Like, she's like saying, just fuck him. And it's gonna be something. And of course, Jamie, being the hopeless romantic she is, even with the immense horny, is just being super romantic. Maya's like, what are you talking about? I'm just talking about getting laid, my girl.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
You might be getting a little ahead of yourself, but even Maya's like, oh, that's adorable. Jamie is pretty fucking adorable. There's a reason Jamie is like the number one girl for, most polls.
For the normies.
Well,
What?
no, I mean, yeah, well, they can't all be refined Vic connoisseurs like
I
us.
don't. Hold on. Let me clarify. I don't think Jamie's a normie pick. I'm just saying a lot of the casual viewers like Jamie a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's understandable. She's demure while also being attractive. She's, she's got a lot of the traits the more casual audience will enjoy.
And it's kind of hard for me to say I don't like Jamie, because I do actually like Jamie a lot. It's just you
Yeah,
have to pick
absolutely.
the ones you like the most, and like Mizzy's in my top 3, so it's like by
Yeah.
extension I also really like Jamie too, But I think I like
Yeah.
Mizzy's style just a little bit more. But like,
Agreed. I do like.
you know what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
It's really easy when you
It's
pick
like,
a character
it's like having a list.
that's attached.
It's like having a list. Yeah, it's like having a list of your favorite foods, right? You like
That's
all
how we're
your favorite
comparing the
foods.
women in this game.
Dude, I mean, this is no. I'm trying to give an analogy that is applicable and
Such a
accessible.
wide selection for me to choose from.
You know what? I give up. Fine. If you're going to be that way, let's just move on.
No, you can intellectually.
No, you're
you
too late.
can-
No, you're too late. You've ruined it now.
Oh my
It's
god.
done.
Okay, moving on.
And Jamie finally getting clued into what the fuck just happened. And Jamie's reaction is, oof. Maya takes it completely serious as well. She sees
Well,
the
of course,
panic and is just
trained assassin in front of us.
Yeah, it's really easy to forget that the Matoi and Maya and Mikan are all like...
Yeah,
it was
okay.
Crow.
Yeah,
was
it was
Crow.
Crow.
But all the maids are lethally trained. Like, they're combat trained. Probably special forces level. Because with their gene mods, they could totally do that even with their builds. Maybe Misaki actually tried to make her way to CJ, and that wasn't necessarily part of Crow's plan, but it's hard to say. And yeah, some kind of spiritual projection.
Jesus, so fucking bright.
It's just the angle of the sun.
I
right?
know.
So... And Maya there in full mode, and CJ is pensive. And Jamie just trying to just buck him up, ground him at the same time. I mean, it's really interesting that that's kind of the dynamic of their romantic relationship in the future. CJ says it himself that he needs someone who can ground him and who does take the more practical approach to things to help him and rein him in when he goes too far. She knew me, but not
CJ's
me.
knocking on the door right now. He just doesn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Anon, you son of a bitch. Because there's 3 layers to that statement. There's him and OG, and then there's him and Jacob, who is OG. And arguably, you could throw Cameron in there as well. So,
Yeah.
she was killing some girl. Greenest eyes I've ever seen.
Very interesting that he describes her like that, but I guess it's fair.
I mean, she's a bit shy of him, but he probably latently picks up on that to some degree, and it's sort of homing in on it, right? So, and she was pretty intensely staring into his eyes as she bled to death. So those sorts of details tend to stick with you. CJ's not dumb. Even now.
Is this the first time we've heard it called the other side, or did Sarah mention that to him earlier?
I think Sarah mentioned it to him earlier. She refers to it as such, yeah.
Because I was like, this is the first time I've heard him refer to it as such.
I think that's why he refers to it as such, is what she says. That she refers to it in one of the notes that she passes to him when they're in the gym storeroom, I think. Someone is very much want to get this. And it's Kieran.
Got you pretty good. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's very stream of consciousness type stuff. You will. This is quite. I wouldn't say super realistic, but this sort of thing is not super unusual with obsessive love like this.
Uh-oh.
And here we go. And he can't let it. CJ has to act. Because he is the aspect of valor. He is glory.
You don't even know what's going on. It doesn't matter.
The people I care about. How many more years should I sit by the ocean until I'm allowed to make a difference? Anyway. And Jamie's just looking at him like, damn, that's hot. Like, damn, look at him being all manly and shit. Yep.
It's crazy.
Ooh.
The water where she's strongest.
God fucking damn it.
It's so fucking over.
You can see why my Anon, you son of a bitch counter stopped in the 80s by this point. Not this point, but like by the time
CJ killing a maid here.
Doesn't even say hi to Mayu. How rude. Who now apparently is the servitor of Jamie, which is interesting. And we see Sarah in her meditations, projecting, and she's.
Do you know how long I waited for you that day at the train station?
And we get Ali voice acting Sarah here.
14 hours. Don't worry. I had plenty to keep me busy.
It's really interesting that she literally got up and went there straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Which means
barely knew
CJ
how to
arrived.
walk, let alone what I was supposed to do when I first met you.
Which means CJ arrived literally within
Isn't
a
that
day,
funny?
maybe 2 days.
I knew you so well by then. Better than anyone else on the planet.
The events that we see in 51, I think. Maybe?
Even your own mother.
Although I'm not sure what happened in the interim with Sarah appearing on the rock and then going in. Like it's we still haven't fully ironed out the timeline.
It's very weird.
Yet,
If you go back a couple of lines, I just want to point something out.
You didn't
Sure.
even know I existed. Isn't that funny?
Isn't it funny? I
I
knew
knew
you
you
so well by then, better
then.
than anyone else on the
Better than
planet.
anyone else on
And
the
then,
planet. Even your
next
own
line,
mother.
even your own mother. If she was Rebecca, like I strongly suspect, man, does that change the context of that statement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to that because it makes sense, but also like Rebecca's still kind of technically alive right now. It's really weird waters.
I mean, the body is, but there's. I mean, I still think there's a fake
didn't even
human
know I
soul divide
existed.
situation going on here.
Yeah,
Or maybe even that the Rebecca soul we see, is yet another shard of Sarah, so which would make her a shard of a shard.
which yeah, I mean that's more than
I
possible.
knew you.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. All this time, I had
And
been.
bear in mind, we do get that. We get, because that's what Ruriko is, that's what Ayu is, that's what Hector is. They're all shards as well.
Yep.
But yes, we're here. We'll stop here at chapter 15. We've got through quite a lot. That's 5 chapters we've just
That
done.
was
I know
five
they're not the
chapters.
longest.
Well, I mean, do we include the one we're about to go into because we started at 10, right?
Of 4 chapters.
Yeah, but yeah, chapter
But
15.
good
It's not
stuff.
bad.
Thank you for joining us for this. It's we're hopefully getting this one out sometime once the editing and everything is done. Wow, we're about to really get into the meat of a lot of other stuff
Yes, we
now.
are.
We're going to deal with
Hopefully,
Crow, and then that in turn is going to kick off that will kick off Jamie's arc. But in the interim, there's also a huge amount of foreshadowing for Kieran. There's a lot of questions that come from this, like, given what we know in 5051, is Kieran actually a product of both Misaki and Crow's souls, or is she solely a product of Crow? Because there's a lot of question marks around that.
yeah, that's an ongoing question. Hopefully, the next episode gets out a little bit quicker than this one. With all the problems we had, it was over
Yeah.
like 2 weeks of us trying to get together and then failing. So maybe we do one tomorrow or something to make up for that. So it's been a little bit. We'll see.
You know me. I'm always down to talk some. You know,
If this guy doesn't yell at his boss again, we'll definitely do one sooner rather
Hey,
than
now
later.
look. I mean, I legally, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Unofficially, though,
this has been the
if I were
end of the
if
episode.
I were to allegedly, if I were to allegedly mention it, I would say fuck that bitch. Allegedly. But anyway, yes. Thank you for joining us once more for Ootcast. It's been myself, Rayze, and my great wingman and brother-in-arms, Techno.
That's right.
The other 5%, as he said.
That's right. When you're right, only 95% of the time. Where else is that 5%? But the people that you hang around, right?
It's that last 5% is top quality stuff.
It's like getting 95% of the way there, and then you make a left turn, and I'm like, no, we keep going straight.
No, we can go straight. This is the actual way to go. It's fine. We work it out.
Yes.
But
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you again next time.
Goodbye.